Good morning, Abu Dhabi. I mean, Western world, Western civilization. What's going on? This is John D, aka the Habitual Thought Challenger, sitting here with the woman who does everything well. How are you doing?
I'm well.
That's awesome to hear.
It's end of the week.
It is. Happy end of the week, TGIF. What did you think of that weather this morning?
So it had been like 70 degrees in the afternoon, over the last week or so. Today took out the big girl, the big fluff coat with the gloves to go walk the dog.
Yeah, that was so real.
Even though it was a nice chill, it was clear, clean, and crisp. And I breathed in deep and the sun was still out, so...
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that for it to be as cold as it was.
Yeah, it made up for it.
It did. I'm going to really enjoy this winter. I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can do that sledding thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I've never been sledding.
We have sleds in storage.
Yeah. And,
ready to go.
You know what's so crazy? Remember last year, we had planned to go, but it didn't snow until
the day after. Yeah, the
day
day he
I
flew
left.
out.
Yeah.
He flew out it was early morning flight. We got you down there 4 or 5 in the morning. And then it snowed and it snowed. Yeah. When I say it snowed for so long, the snow was so deep. Oh, yeah. It was real.
I was not allowed to have that moment, so I get to do it this year so I can appreciate the moment. It's coming.
Sledding is fun, yeah.
Yeah, one thing I do hate about it is that I've never been able to enjoy the snow without getting wet.
Oh, yeah, that happens. It's okay.
No, I don't like that.
It's all right. It's all right.
But we'll see. But I'm excited about this winter for sure. Y'all be safe out there because we know Michigan weather.
We ain't gonna rush the winter in.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm enjoying the fall still. So anybody controlling the fall weather, just listen to me, not him.
Definitely. So we'll leave that alone, I guess. So what are we doing this weekend?
I'm thinking cider mill, hot cider, donuts, maybe a little bit of a little stop in the tasting room for the vodka and the wine that they make at the cider mill. Maybe a run through a corn maze. Something.
We're not gonna do the relaxation day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we like to every so often we'll put the little foot masks on and the face masks on and we sit around the house. We've already had a request for a movie night, so maybe we'll just cluster it all together.
Definitely. Looking forward to that also, And everybody, we need to teach our kids to love themselves and take care of their bodies.
Mm-hmm. Self-care.
You only get one vessel and you should do the best to take care of it. So everybody, start by what you put in your mouth. Food is a bad, bad thing, I'm telling you. I'm trying to change the forecast of food intake in the household.
Still pizza night tonight. Still pizza night.
Yeah, it is. But, we're getting there. As a family, we're getting there. We're trying to improve, and it's been ongoing. And eventually, when the kids become adults, they don't have to worry about as much as we did growing up. I just think about the number of fast food restaurants that I don't see anymore because I don't eat it. So it's like the distractions have been removed. So it's like it's a lot more focus. So just think about what you put in your body, because if you got a Lamborghini, you can't just keep putting, unleaded in there. It works, but it's going to break down a lot sooner than it's supposed to. So love yourself and do some research and change your mind. Inshallah. But today we were going to bring up the topics of how we actually approach dating, men versus women. But we're going to definitely just do it from the perspective of our very own. We don't want to say we're using any statistics, but, just breaking down some logic, we feel like we have something to bring to the tables to give you something to consider as you move forward. Some people may call it hating, but I call it informative news to bring awareness to make better decisions of success through relationships. Because if you search for what you really want, you may actually get it, opposed to just playing lottery. So how do you think women approach dating, or how did you approach dating? What did you look at?
I was looking up and all the look. So I think that women are, from when we're babies, when we're little girls, it's reinforced in us that we need to look for love. We need to look for love. We shouldn't have sex until we're in love. We shouldn't have sex until we're married, because that's the person who's going to love you for the rest of your life. Everything is about love and feelings. And if we're having sex, it's connected to the idea of love and all this good, wholesome. Your daddy want to protect you from everybody who don't let them take anything from you, some taking your virginity and all that other stuff. And I think that somehow, well, not somehow, just basically, women are crippled when they're entering into the dating scene, because we're raised to connect with feeling behind it. But I don't think that that's the focus of boys.
Oh, no, definitely not. I'll just give a perspective of the age group that I grew up in the mindset. It was just different. So going into high school, I mean, I liked girls for sure, but I'm just trying to figure it out, just trying to literally figure it out. I had sex just so I could stop lying. and navigating through high school, I was fairly popular. Played basketball. I did well academically, and I got along with everybody. And I'm recognizing that women find me attractive, and I'm enjoying the attention, and it became like it was a kissing game. It was like who could kiss the most girls, and then it was like it just elevated to, having sex. And as a group of men or a group of young guys, just talking about the idea of just having sex, and then it just came into an idea of just how many people you could have sex with, and it was like we're just getting programmed to, that's literally what we want. So when women that's looking for love, looking for whatever you're looking for in a relationship, we're not communicating the same message. Like, I know that the group of men that we were just trying to knock it down. Okay. And we was willing to get in relationships to knock it down.
Yeah. Completely different reason for getting into relationships. And I'm not going to say that every woman is raised the way that I'm talking about, or they thought the way that I was. But I'm going to ask y'all this. Mothers and fathers, women and men, everybody. So if we young women are told not to have sex unless it's love, marriage, you don't want to be sleeping around, you don't want to be doing this, doing that, you don't want to be seen as this, seen as that. But then you raise the sons to see sex as fun and something to explore. Who y'all sending your sons to find?
I know that.
Like, you're sending your sons out into the world and telling them the most of the the extent of your sex education is wear a condom.
Wear a condom.
And go have your fun. This isn't, I mean, and even you, John, you said your dad, when he sent you to college, he said, look, this is time to have fun. This ain't no time to be in a relationship.
Yep. He was like, don't get in a relationship because this is the best years of your life.
But I guarantee you, there are fathers out there with sons and daughters, and somehow you sending your sons out to meet women that are being raised to live that life with them. And you're raising these girls to find these non-existent men. Like, I'm trying to figure out why we're not raising men and women to view sex the same. Either we're doing it for feelings, either we're doing it for fun, or we're teaching that it's for fun in the beginning and feelings later. I don't really know what the right formula is, but I'm trying to figure out who y'all sending your sons out to have sex with.
Well, I'll tell you this, that what I was taught it's non-existent, because Dallas and Darius, I told them that if you end up having sex, you don't know your worth, because there's no way that you found the love of your life that early. And if you're just out here trying to have fun, you are endangering your trajectory of greatness, because this person could get pregnant. He could get a disease that you don't get rid of at an early age. And I'm like, his life is so young. So why would we teach our young men? We create this idea that, we have these hormones. Like, you can literally masturbate. You can beat your meat. And that is safe. There's no diseases. It's you're getting to know yourself. But we out here trying to teach young kids to be responsible when we got adults that can't even be responsible. So how are we putting these ideas in our kids' minds? Like, now I know if my kids end up having sex that, they messed up, but it's nothing that we don't expect. All we can do is try to give them all the tools that we didn't have, because I'll tell you this, I didn't have any babies until my daughter Day in Dallas. No babies. And I was reckless. And thank God I was blessed to not get caught up. And I said, I have friends that got caught up with the same message. But if the message earlier in life was like, hey, if you're worth this much, why would you let everybody have a piece of you? Why would we give a piece of us to everybody? Everybody doesn't deserve us. But if you valued yourself, you would only share it with people who deserved it. So then if we change the mindset of our young men saying, let's get to know these young ladies, see how they are. Can we help them? Can they help us? But we in the mindset of go knock them down. And then if you get somebody pregnant, you're stuck with them for the remainder of their life. And you may not even like them.
Hey, for real. Look, the thing is you got these boys, they're out there doing grown-up things. And when them grown-up consequences come, I was just telling John yesterday, I'm like, look, anything happen where one of our boys gets somebody pregnant, we're at the mercy of that girl and her parents. Whatever their choice is, it is now our responsibility, because and we're not going to say it's just our son's responsibility, because Correct. We raised these boys, or we're raising these boys, we're informing them. And yes, they made a mistake, but that child shouldn't have to pay for it. So now we have to engage in that family. Oh my goodness, the tying of families. Okay, so you are tied to a family for the rest of your life, and it's all strictly off the fact that your son wanted to knock somebody down. And it could be the family that is like, we all have seen it, where it's like nightmarish in-laws or people you're related to, and you're like, why? Because you didn't have the foresight or the thought to choose appropriately. The idea of how to choose your mate, that's always going to come back around, because there's so many questions to ask and so many things. These kids don't know. They're not asking anything. Are you cute? Will you have sex with me? That's the extent. And so imagine those being the only requirements, and then for the rest of your life you tied to an entire family financially, like it's just too much. And then if you're the parent of a girl, having to see your child go through that physically as a child, becoming a mother, or making the decision not to have that child, like, and what that might do to your child, or how that will rock your own sense of values and belief systems. Like, come on, y'all.
Look, check this out. We got one job and we need to protect our children. We have to put the best tools in them so that they can navigate this world better than we did.
But I think that starts with
changing the mindset of how we view sex.
Yes, I think that we need to actually talk about it. You need to talk about the emotional part. You need to talk about the anatomy. You need to talk about the financial, like the consequences. And I'm not saying shame kids into, you don't want to hear your parents talking about, and if you get somebody pregnant, then it's this, this, and this. But break up those conversations into, what do y'all think about this? Or what do y'all think about that? Like, what do you think you would do? Even for them to start to think and realize that they don't even know what step 2 is. They just, you know what I'm saying?
And they get all the way to having babies. They didn't even go to step 2.
Yeah. But it is changing the mind frame around the idea of sex as a whole.
Got to rescript the culture.
You do. We have to look at sex as multidimensional. It's not just we Christians, so we're going to stay virgins. We all know that that's not how it goes with these kids. I was one of those kids, and the message didn't transmit, y'all. And I definitely skated past a number of risky situations, and I feel like my mom felt like she had enough conversation with me, and maybe and I've talked to her before about other concepts, and she's like, the generation before me didn't talk about any of the things that I talked to you about. So we're graduating, we're developing, we're evolving. And so I'm going to take it a step further from my mom, and I'm going to think about, and I charge all of y'all to do that. Think about what you wish somebody would, what do I feel like I wish my parents would have told me? And actually talk to somebody, not as a parent, but as a guide. Being a parent is different. But when we talk to our kids about some stuff, they get embarrassed, and they giggle and all that stuff. And then we're like, y'all don't have to feel that way around us. You don't have to be uncomfortable. Ask the stuff you want to ask. And sometimes we got to nudge them into the conversation. But in every conversation, I want you to always, if you hear what I'm saying, I want you to always give a balanced message to these girls and these boys about how there are going to be, you tell your daughters, there are going to be boys out there that want to have sex with you, and they have this want, this need. Sometimes it's a game, sometimes it's a competition. Sometimes they are just under the pressure of what everyone around them tells them that they should be doing, and it's not love. And I'm not going to tell you that every time you have sex with a boy, he's in love with you. Even if you think that that's what.
Even if you say it.
Yeah. And even if that's what you're seeking. And we're going to tell our boys the same. Look, girls are not, generally, the girls out here that you are finding, when they decide to have sex with you, there are feelings attached. That's a whole entire human being. So when you go in there, you need to know that you could really hurt somebody just off the simple fact that you wanted to get one off.
But look, I don't want to get misconstrued. There are women I'm saying there are women that believe that they are capable of separating their feelings. And this is what I want to give you a heads up to, women. Some of you may have that mindset, but if the person's a really good guy, you can't stop your feelings from liking a really good guy. So you can go in with the intention of saying, I can just do this. You're right. You probably can, but just remember, if you're wasting your time with somebody who's not a good guy, you just wasting your time. But if he's a good guy, you may violate whatever you think you wasn't supposed to be a part of. Now you may be emotionally attached to a guy who told you he was not trying to live that life. So please be careful with what games you play with adult games.
That's true. That's true. I think, sometimes we go into it and we feel like, but I could be different. I could be the one that makes him different. Not necessarily all the time.
Be careful the game you play.
Yeah, but I think what I really want is just a balanced message. I want the girls to know that when you're going to, if you choose to have sex with somebody, they may not have the same mind frame that you do. And with these young men, when you go in to have sex, I just feel like we're on this thing where women give and men take. That's how it is.
So check this out with the idea of what you're saying. Even if, let's say, how about let's go to the actual idea of men take. Like, I felt like when I was having sex, the idea of taking, it looked a certain way. And I'm realizing as I get older, the more I reflect on, sexual misconduct with men, rape, I started to reevaluate how my interactions with women in the past. And I think that if you just say, hey man, rape is if you are sexually, if you're aggressive with a woman and she says no and, and you take it, like, rape can look so much less than that. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we don't talk about different levels of what rape looks like, a lot of people don't understand, because I'm going to tell you, I've spoken to several men in my life and I asked them, have they sexually what is it called? When you're aggressive with a woman sexually.
Sexual harassment?
No, aggravated assault. Aggravated. Rape? No, it wasn't rape, but I'm talking about with the rules now that we're learning.
Mm-hmm. Saying if you look at their definition now,
yeah, like it's changed, it's evolved over time because
it's become more specific.
Definitely, yeah. So now the way that I look at it, because you put me on an idea that scared the heck out of me. You know what I'm talking about?
That women will do it.
Yeah. Too. Okay, so I want you guys to listen to this. This is some real stuff. So the idea of, to me now, in order to have sex with a woman, the woman has to fully be engaged in it. There is no miscommunication. And before, growing up, like I was telling, my wife we're the same age group. And I was saying, like, no, it really meant yes. And like in some instances, like
no meant
sometimes it could mean yes. Like, no, stop. Like, no, stop. Like, so, but men never understood, like, no. Like, they feel like if the woman says no and
she manhandles you,
yeah, like she's got to do so. Okay, I'm going too far. But if a woman feels like it might be best just to have sex because they're afraid of it going too far, they'll just have sex to get it over with. So in the mindset of a man, they may not call the girl back anyway. You think that you conquered a woman and she was just maybe just getting rid of you.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, as far as the conquest aspect, that we never understand, because that behavior never was corrected because she just left them alone.
Yeah, never came back. Okay, so then, and that's a concern. So the concern is in those instances where you're a young woman, you really like somebody, you're in a situation where it looks like it's going to sex, and you don't really want to do it, and you're kind of like, no, and be like, but he keeps kissing, he keeps rubbing. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes women are intimidated and they're like, I don't want this to turn bad. And so it's okay. I can do it, or they'll do it. And I'm not saying all women do that, but But I'm saying that those are instances that someone can be put into where it's safer for them to have sex than to possibly refuse, and what can happen next. And when I say that, I say that there are women who, just for saying they don't want to give their number to somebody, they get spit on. Just for, turning down a guy's advances, he comes back with a gun and starts shooting. And that just happened recently. I was reading about that, in the last year, I think that sometimes women have to bargain out how can she remove herself from the situation in the safest way possible. And sometimes, like, if I can get through this, and I don't think any man wants to have sex and think that the woman is thinking, if I can just get through this, but
well, if any man thinks of that, then something's wrong. Then
there's something there. But I think that there's when a girl says no, it's always safest, even if she's giggling and saying no, it's always safest to just say, we don't have to do this time. It can be kisses and hugs, it could be whatever, but don't take it any further, because you don't know the level of intimidation there. You don't know where her head is at that moment. And no is just, take it as no. No doesn't necessarily mean with a little bit more convincing I could be like.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you've done it before and you think that it works,
and nobody came back and said otherwise.
Correct.
But I'm going to tell you this, it's a delicate dance.
I know, I get it.
And even women, we have to learn that the no is the safe word. Like, we can't use no and giggle and laugh and then aggressively pursue him when he backs off. The no is not a part of the game of getting ready to have sex, because
that's a good way to look. If you use no, the only time you use it, that means we're not going there.
Because if you're going to sit here and tell me that guys can't always read a no, I feel like there's inflection in the voice. I feel like there's a tension in the body where there are signals that this no is really no. But if a man is going to say to me that, some no's don't mean no, well, then whenever you hear me say no, that's my quit word, period. I don't play the game with the no word. I'm going to give you an example. I do definitely understand the need to, like, if something happens and a woman does follow through with it, and there are women, we've had sex with men and we really regretted it. We knew before it was about to start that we did not want to do it, but for whatever reason we didn't. We walk away with that regret and they have no idea. And we should, and it's so unfortunate because they don't understand that literally up to the moment you could be like, I don't want to do it. And guys think that, no, I see all green, let's go. Yeah. And that's not what it is. But I'm going to tell you, there was a situation with me, and he's a friend of mine. We were dating, we were having a good time. We were about to have sex, and he tried to have sex with me, no condom. And I was like, nope. I said, no, you got to get that condom on. So he gets the condom on, and we're about to have sex. And then he said, hold on. And he's trying to shift his weight around or whatever. Well, what he was doing was he was taking the condom off. And he knew that I'd seen him put the condom on. And then he went to have sex with me. And I could tell the minute, we all know when it's skin to skin, I said, oh, no. And I pushed him off and I said, you violated me. Now he got super hella pissed. And so this is a big old dude. This is like football size dude. I'm 5'3", 130. I said, look, no, you violated me. And he was so mad at me. And I was looking like, dude, I'm mad at you. What are you talking about? Well, later on we talked. I left. Like, there was no conversation. I said, no, I told you that this is what we had to do. And you tried to trick me. I'm done. I put my clothes on and I left. And I know that is not always how it happens. I'm going to be real. But for me in that moment, I'm not going to tell you something and then you going, So I leave. We didn't talk for a few years. And we got on the phone one day and we were talking, and I said, do you remember this moment? And he said, yeah, I was really mad at you because you were saying I raped you. And I said, no. I said, I didn't say you raped me. Though, now when I think about it, when we're talking, that wasn't the sex I consented to. So that wasn't consensual sex to me because I didn't consent to that sex. I consented to protected sex. I didn't consent to unprotected sex. But I said to him in that moment, because we grew up along the same time and definitions were, it wasn't like today. I said, no. I said, you violated me, as in you violated my trust. I felt like this is how we were going to have sex. You made me feel like that's what we were about to do. And then you chose otherwise. You made a choice without me, and it had to do with me. And he was like,
different way to look at it.
It was. And he was like, okay. And he was like, well, I was really mad for a long time because I'm not a rapist. And I said, I understand what you mean. And I didn't see it as he was trying to, because when we think about rapists, we think about somebody who's violently trying to take away from a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But the fact of the matter is we were having sex that was not consensual. I did not.
And therefore, that is rape.
If you
with
want
technical terms now.
Yeah, if you wanted today's terms
Correct.
now.
That's
now,
why I said
didn't see it that way.
For sure, that's what I'm saying. But the more information we get, we should be able to understand.
Yeah, I agreed. I took my clothes off. I agreed to lay in the bed. I agreed to do all of the things. But I did not agree to do it if there wasn't any protection. And the minute that stipulation was violated, the use of the word violated made him so angry. And one of the things I'm saying about this is because of the difference in size and because he immediately took offense and he was angry, that could easily be seen as something where a woman might back down or a woman may be scared for her safety. I wasn't scared for my safety because I knew he was a good person. We were friends, but in that moment, something in his past or what he's learned told him that was acceptable. So he was operating under the rules that he knew, even though those weren't the rules that I was going to play by. So,
and that could be a dangerous game.
And to this day, I mean, I adore him. He's a really, really nice guy. And I would never, even when we stopped talking for a few years, it wasn't because I was angry at what happened. It's because he was so upset that I was like, oh, he's fooling if he didn't feel like he should have got yelled at. You supposed to get yelled at. How you yelling at me?
And today it's way more than that.
Yeah. And so I was really happy that we got to talk later because I would never.
It was miscommunication.
It was miscommunication. And it was poor lessons that had been learned prior to.
Correct.
And so I'm sure, I don't know, because we never talked about what happened after that. But I'm sure that he became more diligent in clearing things because the level of offense and hurt that was in his face when I said that, it was like, what?
Yeah.
How could you? Because I would never. And he's like a gentle giant.
You know what's so crazy? I have a friend. Now that I think about it, and he told me a story where a young lady said that, hey, you trying to rape me? And he was so offended. And I didn't think about it until now, but the aggressive behaviors could make a woman feel like that. And a guy could really not have any intentions on doing that, but does not know that he's exhibiting behaviors that this person associates with what a rape could look like.
Yeah.
Miscommunication.
The other thing I think about, and this might be a whole different podcast episode, but because I'm always saying that, porn and glamorizing the idea of one taking control over another, it can make guys, when they enter into a sexual whatever, he feel like, that's something I've seen done before and it looked like the woman liked it. I'm hoping nobody is that simplistic, but I want, like, these young kids, I know these young kids see porn And at some point, we're going to have a discussion with our kids about it. But what you see in there, these young girls out here ain't no porn stars. Like, everything you see on your screen is not going to relate to you in real life. And because of that, and you know, some girls are very sexually liberated and they want to be very explorative and do different things, and I get that. But that's when it comes down to, and this is what don't nobody want to do, have a real conversation before you have sex. Mm-hmm. Like, what are your do's, don'ts, and what are you willing to do and what you're not willing to do?
Because you know what? People believe in an idea of like the natural act of just doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to really prep for an adult thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to participate in adult activities, the least you could do is protect your own self. Find out what is too much, find out it was too less. Because if you don't, it could make the actual act a horrible experience.
Yeah. Like, I guess it's better to know your boundaries beforehand. Like, how explorative do you want to be? That could be a part of your conversation before you really get down to it. Because there are some people that got hard, fast stops and no's. Like, I'm not doing that. And don't ask me. Or I might be interested in it. And then when it comes down to it, they're like, this doesn't feel good. Then y'all need to be able to pivot and try something else. But I think we don't get into the details because we feel like it's going to make it weird. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the levels are different now, but definitely you need to know. I think for young men, you need to know so that you can understand and you can, because now they will throw all kinds of charges at you and you be like, what? But I do this all the time.
Yeah, so
you need to know your limits, and women, we need to be honest about what our limits are.
Definitely recommend that.
No, but I'm saying on both ends, because women, we need to be able to say, look, I already told you that this is not, the soft no and the giggle. I know that is, and I'm not saying anything to women because I know I've been into some situations, but even if that's not what went on with you, for these girls that we're raising and that we're mentoring, little cousins, sisters, daughters, or whatever, help give them a big voice.
Look, I'm going to tell you too, the message that we pass on as men, like with what you said, like, do you know, like, I was just thinking about when I was younger, I used to say, if I got to this point, I'm 100%.
And it's not.
Nobody should ever think like that.
Never. Because I could be partially into something. I remember having sex with someone and we had just gotten started and I was like, I'm not feeling it. And he was like, all right. And we stopped and we got dressed and we went to go have something to eat. Like, I'm not feeling it. It's, and that's weird for a dude because, dude, they think they doing work. And you're like, But, and I never want to speak as if I'm speaking for everyone. I'm not. And I'm never going to act like everyone has the same capability. But I'm saying, sometimes just the way we teach things, starting from when we're little, for girls to be so selfless and to be nurturing and, they watch you when daddy comes home and he's less than stellar and mommy makes up for it. She fluffs. So daddy is just upset. And, all we learn to take care of and nurture and make room for others over ourselves sometimes. But these are our bodies. And I don't necessarily know the message to give my daughter, but I'm just trying to give her a big voice.
Definitely.
And I want to give my son and my nephew ears that listen.
Definitely. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to have the conversations that people consider uncomfortable. And I never understand at this point in my life why an informative conversation that can help your kids be successful is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because your parents didn't show you how to do it, so you have to accept the responsibility of becoming the effective communicator so they can receive it and they can be successful. Because if you don't, somebody's going to get caught up, right? Mm-hmm. We want to reduce that number, and the only way we can reduce it is if we actually practice communicating with each other.
Yeah.
And you have to do it on a regular basis. It's, you know, I know sometimes we can get in our world and we just don't want to talk to anybody, but your kids deserve the conversation every single day. Mm-hmm. And the more you do it, the more better, the easier you learn their behaviors and how they view things. And they will learn how you operate. And understand this. Kids can smell bullshit.
They can.
So you can tell them to do this and do that, but they're going to watch how you move. And if you're not moving the way you talk, they're going to end up like you. The apple does not fall that far from the tree. And if you think it's a game, you're going to see whatever your bad habits are in something that you did not expect it to see.
And I think what it really comes down to is the world is changing, and we need to educate them so that they can move safely through it. And also, I don't need my kids to bump their head the same place as I did.
Not at all.
As much as possible, I want to be transparent so that they can see that I genuinely and authentically want them to know each of my steps, my thought process, so that they can make better decisions and make new mistakes. But we can't do that when we holding back the information.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And you can't, this is another thing, parents. Do not assume your kids know anything. Like sometimes we assume our kids know because we have this long life and we assume that at that age we knew something.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessary. Like your kids do not want to fail you anyway. But we think that they're getting an answer wrong or not remembering something to put you in a position to like not trust them. Mm-hmm. So we have to
be honest,
be completely honest. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say this has been a wonderful episode. I hope you got some of these nuggets. You got anything to say, Du?
Honesty is the best policy. Transparency is key. I don't know what else to say, but that's my hope for our kids.
Make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you cannot control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Boom.